Hello and welcome to the News Prime in Global TV, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. The federal government has announced a 5 billion palliative for each state of the federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, to cushion the impact of removal of the petrol subsidy. The governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, made the announcement in Abuja on Thursday when he spoke to the State House correspondent at the end of the National Economic Council meeting. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said education is Nigeria's primary tool against poverty. The president also noted that his administration remained determined to embrace the prospect of digital economic and telecommunications, which he described as the future. Tinubu, who received a delegation from global tech giant Google, said his administration will leverage digital technology to create Nigeria's desired socio-economic progress that is necessary to transform society. He called on Google to partner with the government on the use of data in the public sector to enhance service delivery. The president stated that the prospective use cases emanating from the emergence of artificial intelligence and quantum computing must be enhanced, even as he emphasized that development is achieved in stages. Vice President Kashim Shettima is currently presiding over the National Economic Council NEC meeting in Abuja. The meeting, being held at the Council Chamber of the Presidential Villa Abuja, has in attendance governors from across the Federation and other stakeholders. The meeting is expected to address some of the pertinent economic challenges in the country occasioned by the removal of petrol subsidy. Also expected to discuss security challenges across the country with recent attacks in some parts of the north. Journalists has been executed from the meeting and are waiting to be briefed on the outcome. The NEC meeting comes about 24 hours after the Nigerian National Petroleum Limited (NNPC) announced that it secured a $3 billion emergency crude repayment loan from African Export-Import Afreximbank. Also, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will on Monday, August 21st, 2023, swear in his ministers. The event is billed to hold at the State House Conference Aso Villa in Abuja by 10 a.m. A statement on Wednesday by the Director of Information Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, said the ministers are allowed to come with 2 guests each. This scheduled arrangement for the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, at the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja on allegation bordering on 6.9 billion naira procurement fraud has been sold due to absence of second defendant Saidat Yaro. Global TV's Sharon Adeji is reporting. The federal government and Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Muhammad Abubakar, told Justice Amza Muazo that Mrs. Saidat Yaro took ill in the morning and is unable to make it to the court.
Abubakar apologized to the court and applied for a new date for arraignment. The request for an adjournment was not opposed by Emefiele's counsel, Akinlolu Kehinde, and the counsel of Saidat Yaro. Justice Mahazu subsequently fixed August 23rd for the arraignment. Emefiele, who entered the court with white kaftan, made frantic efforts to evade cameramen in and outside the court. While the prosecution counsel declined interview, the defense counsel provided insight of what happened in the court.
The charge was filed in Lagos. In the wisdom of the complainant, the federal government of Nigeria, they decided to withdraw that charge. A ruling is being expected this morning before the Federal High Court in Lagos in respect of that application to withdraw that charge. Now they brought another charge before the FCT High Court, a 20-count charge against the same person, against the same embattled governor of the Central Bank, and one other person. Now, the matter was meant for arraignment this morning, but 2 things played out, which clearly showed that the complainant itself was not ready for the arraignment. The second defendant was not made available. The second defendant was not in court. and it is right that all the defendants in a charge must be present to take their plea, and consequently, the complainant on its own requested for an adjournment for the arraignment to be done at a later date. And so we didn't oppose that application. The arraignment will now come up on Wednesday, 23rd of this month, Wednesday 23rd.
Operative of the Department of State Service, DSS, who brought Emefiele to court under a heavy watertight security to avoid security breaches, returned him to their custody immediately after the proceedings.
The military high command says no fewer than 3 officers, 22 soldiers were killed in Niger State, while 7 were wounded in action by terrorists. Major General Edward Buba, the Director of Defense Media Operations, revealed this at Defense Headquarters while keeping the journalists abreast with the operational activities of the Nigerian military and the theater of operation in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
Major General Edward Buba stated that the Nigerian Air Force helicopter that crashed in Shiroro area of Niger State had gone to the scene to evacuate the victims before it crashed. He, however, vowed that no group could attack its troops and go scot-free, adding that the 14 previously killed soldiers were in the jet during the crash.
Discover what caused the plane crash. After that, you can be sure that that will be communicated to all of us. To use superior military force to eliminate any group or groups that constitute a threat to the safety of citizens and armed forces alike. Lastly, I will say that no group will strike armed troops without injurious consequences.
The Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Edward Gaboit, called on those aiding and abetting the propaganda tendencies of terrorists by spreading the video of the alleged crashed site with gory pictures of dead military personnel to stop, saying such action can demoralize the troops.
The Nigerian Armed Forces have continued to be very open about its operations, and accidents in military operations are nothing for any military organization to be ashamed of. We're fighting an insurgency, and if anybody thinks insurgency is something that is tackled in such an easy way, then you should go back to the history books and find out how other nations have been facing the same problem. What we see in other countries is the citizens of those countries rallying around the armed forces and supporting them. But when we come back home, it's so unfortunate what we see some of our citizens do. It's as if there is a kind of joy that we derive when the armed forces have this kind of mishaps. What do we get from that? Are we going to be happy for these terrorists to come and, override our communities, take over our communities? Is that what we want? Where is it?
Speaking on the troops' operation, the Director of Defense Media Operations says during the week under review, the military neutralized 28 terrorists, arrested 92, 6 gun runners, 3 kidnappers, 6 collaborators, and 7 perpetrators of oil theft.
Troops also rescued 82 kidnapped hostages and denied oil thieves the estimated value of over 870 million naira. Troops equally recovered 108 weapons and 556 ammunition.
He noted that the ongoing operation is aimed at curtailing the activities of violent extremist groups fomenting insecurity in the country, adding that the troops will continue to respond with overwhelming military force to any group that threatens the safety of citizens and the nation forces. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News, Abuja.
Thank you very much, Kike Lomo Okere. Still on the News Prime on Global Television. The Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, Benue State Chapter on Wednesday called on government at all levels, political leaders and traditional rulers to help in the release of one of their members abducted 3 weeks ago. A medical doctor, Dr. Aseme Msuga, was abducted in the Unkom local government area of the state 3 weeks ago while he was embarking on a malaria program supervision at a primary health care center. The association, in a statement signed by its chairman, Dr. Shakuma Nege, stated that the abducted doctors was the only medical doctor at the General Hospital, Sankira, adding that he had been in captivity for 25 days. The NMA threatens to down tools of the kidnapped medical doctors was not released. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, on Thursday advised motorists to replace worn-out tires and wiper in order to prevent avoidable auto crashes during the raining season. The FRSC spokesman, Assistant Marshal BC Kazim, who made the call in Abuja, advised drivers to always ensure their vehicles are in good working condition before embarking on a journey. He also advised that the windshield wiper and blades should also be checked for proper functioning. Kazim also appealed to motorists to shun negative attitude and habits like drunk driving, smoking of herb and cannabis, dangerous driving, overloading, exceeding speed limit, or use of phones while driving. Also, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Secretary General Rebecca Greenspan yesterday urged African economies to key into technology-intensive global supply chains to boost prosperity. The organization made the call during the launch of a new report which highlighted that the continent could become a major exporter of high-value added goods, creating growth, jobs, and fueling a rise in productivity and wages. Greenspan insisted that the move would offer a better future for African economies, adding that diversification is key to private sector development and employment opportunities for the continent's growing population. She highlighted factors driving the huge opportunity for Africa to include countries and businesses seeking to diversify their supplies and reduce risk. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, yesterday disclosed that the oil rig, which capsized on Tuesday at Ovoro in Warri, Delta State, had been operating on the nation's water illegally since 2016. In the press statement by the head public relations of the agency, Osaige Edward, on Wednesday, said the majestic rig belonging to Depwise Nigeria Limited had been operating since 2016 without requested approval for the regulatory agency. According to him, the NIMASA has, however, dispatched a team of search and rescue and marine accident investigation officers to the scene of the incident. You're watching the News Prime on Global TV, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Prime returns, House of Representatives intervenes in rev over footballers on paid bonuses. Details of this and more will be brought to you when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back on Global Television, bringing you live broadcast from News Prime. We're in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Still on the news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on Wednesday announced that it has secured a $3 billion emergency crude oil repayment loan from the African Export-Import Bank. It said the loan would be used by the oil company to support the federal government in stabilizing Nigeria's exchange rate. It was also gathered that the facility would also help in reducing the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, petrol. Impeccable sources at the oil firm also told our correspondent that the loan would boost the import of petrol into Nigeria, as oil marketers further confirmed that the facility would tackle the seeming re-emergence of subsidy on petrol. Nigeria's exchange rate has been an issue of concern lately, with the dollar rising to over 910 naira at the parallel market, while oil dealers have been complaining of non-liquid nature of the importers and exporters official window of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And now on the foreign scene, the Foreign Affairs Minister in Germany has thrown its way beyond the European Union sanctions against the Niger Republic military junta. Annalena Baerbock of the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany said EU foreign ministers are expected to discuss the Niger situation, including sanctions, at a meeting in Toledo, Spain on August 31st, 2023. In comments posted to X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, the foreign minister on Thursday said its minister, Annalena Baerbock, has held talks with African Union Chair Musa Mahamat, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and other stakeholders about the coup in that the UE, one of the biggest providers of aid to Niger, said last month it was suspending security cooperations and financial support that had been set at €503 million in 2021 to 2024 to help improve governance and education. Also, more than 60,000 people are feared dead after a boat carrying migrants was found off Cape Verde in West Africa. 38 people, including children, were rescued, with footage showing them being helped ashore. Some on stretchers on the island of Sal. Almost all those on board the boat, which was at sea for over a month, are thought to have been from Senegal. Cape Verde officials have called for global action on migration to help prevent further loss of life. The vessel was first spotted on Monday. Police told the AFP news agency initial reports suggested that the boat had sunk, but it was later clarified that it had been found drifting. The wooden Paraguay-style boat was seen almost off Sal, a part of Cape Verde, by a Spanish fishing boat, which then alerted authorities. Police said the survivors, including 4 children aged between 12 and 16, a spokesperson for the International Organization for Migration said the boat left the Senegalese fishing village of Faz Boye on 10 June with 101 people on board, Senegal's foreign minister said on Tuesday, citing survivors. Still on the foreign scene, the world's longest rail tunnel has been shut to passenger service after a derailment in Switzerland, causing damage that will take months to repair. Swiss authorities said there was no indication when the Gotthard-based tunnel would reopen. 16 carriages derailed and are still stuck inside a week after the derailment on August 10. Opened in 2016, the Gotthard rail link took 20 years to build and cost more than $12 billion. National Swiss Rail Operators SBB Chief Executive Vincent Ducrot said on Wednesday that Gotthard was one of the safest tunnels in the world. An investigation is being led by Swiss Transportation Safety Investigation Board STSB and the Public Prosecutor's Office of the Canton of Ticino. Rail Operators SBB said in total around 8 kilometers of track and 20,000 concrete sleepers needs to be replaced. One of the largest cities in Canada's far north is being evacuated amid warnings that a wildfire could reach it by the weekend. The 20,000 residents of Yellowknife, the capital of the Northwest Territories, have been given until noon Friday to leave. As of late Wednesday, the fire was within 17 kilometers or 11 miles of the city. Another fire is threatening the community of Have River. One evacuee told the CBC her car began melting as she and her family drove through embers while fleeing the town. The Northwest Territories declared a state of emergency late on Tuesday as it battles more than 200 wildfires. Shane Thompson, the region's environment minister, told a press conference on Wednesday that the fires are taking another turn for the worse and now represented a real threat to Yellowknife. More than 100 people have been arrested in a city in East Pakistan after thousands of Muslim-born churches and vandalized homes. Violence in Jaranwali was sparked by claims that two Christian men had torn pages from the Quran. The historic Salvation Army Church was still smoldering on Thursday, one day after the riot runs had been surrounded with barbed wire as the situation remains tense in the city. Public gatherings have also been restricted for 7 days in Falsa Abad district, which includes Jaranwali. Torn paint and its red marker ink were found. And now the House of Representatives Committee on Sports on Wednesday pledged to wade into the crisis over unpaid bonuses to national football teams. Players by the Nigeria Football Federation Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Sport, Ekene Abubakar, stated this in Abuja at a meeting with the NFF at the National Assembly complex. The committee and the federation agreed to work together to find lasting solutions to the recurring issue of unpaid bonuses of all national team players. When asked to explain the issues surrounding the non-payment of Super Falcons player in the recent World Cup outing, NFF President Ibrahim Gusau said the money owed to players would be paid as soon as the federation received grant from FIFA. For more on sport, Fidelis Yegoena is standing by with an update.
Former Senator John Eno has been confirmed as the 36th Minister of Sports Development prior to the swearing-in of the new ministers on Monday.
Will the Senate approve the nomination of Senator John Owaneno, representing Cross River State, for appointment as the Minister of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The 57-year-old former senator who hails from Cross River State represented the Central Senatorial District of Cross River State in the 8th Assembly that ran from 2015 to 2019 and was previously a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The one-time governorship candidate in Cross River State succeeds Mr. Sunday Dari as Minister of Sports Development. For Global Television News, Fidelix Yegoena reporting.
And that's it on Global TV News Prime. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform at Global TV NG and other handles showing on your TV screen. I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a pleasant day. See you again.